Hi, I'm Jer. Welcome to Kill-Divill, where we focus on rum and cocktails. Today we are going to make holiday syrup, or, if you'd rather, Christmas syrup. The first thing we have to do in order to make this syrup is to create a cranberry juice. However, if you want to skip this step, feel free to buy cranberry juice in the grocery store. Feel free to do so, just make sure you get unsweetened. When making cranberry juice, the exact amount of the ingredients is not very important. What is important is the proportions. So I'm going to do 2 parts cranberry to 1 part water, and for me that's going to be volume. If I was a real scientist, I would be using grams mass instead, but I'm not a real scientist, I just play one on TV. So volume it is. 2 parts cranberries, 1 part water. So I have my cranberries here. It's about 3.5 cups. Put that in my saucepan. 3.5 cups, half of that is 1 3/4 cups of water. So I'm gonna go get that and put that in the saucepan as well. Now that we're at the stove top, I'm gonna turn on some heat, and it's gonna be a very low heat. I want the water to get hot, but not to boil. And what I'm looking for is for the cranberries to start to pop. I'll bring you in when that happens. Okay, the cranberries have actually started to pop. This has been about 10 minutes. So the 25 minutes is going to start here, and I don't know if we'll get one to pop on camera, but I don't know if you can see these or not. Let's see if I can grab one. Oh, yeah, see how it's, that's what we're looking for. I don't know if you can see that. All right, 25 minutes starts now. Very low heat. See you in a bit. One of the things I'm looking for as I do this is I want the cranberries to be soft, and I can feel with my spoon that some of them are still a little bit hard. So that means they're not quite done yet. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and we'll see you in just a moment. Now that the cranberries are all soft, I'm going to mush them. And I believe this is called a potato musher. That's what I'm going to use, and I'm just going to make sure they're all broken open. Okay, that done, I'm going to let them cook another 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes later, and the cranberries are ready. I'm going to take them over to my other station, and we will strain them. We'll see you in a moment. Okay, now we strain the cranberries. I'm just going to pour them into my little sieve here. And then as I strain, I'm going to turn the cranberries over just a little bit here and there to help get the juice through, because this is thick stuff. I'm not pushing it through, I'm just letting it fall through, but we'll get the solid bits out of the way so the juice can go through. I'll see you in a moment. Note that this stuff is edible. What we've just made here is a cranberry sauce, unsweetened. So if you wanted to do something with this, if you know how to bake, how to cook, how to take advantage of this, feel free to do so. And if you have a recipe, let me know. Now that we're done straining though, I'm going to set this aside and let it cool to room temperature. I'll see you in a moment. Now that the juice is cool, and strictly speaking, you don't have to let the juice cool to room temperature. You can just cool it a little bit or not at all. I always do because I use a plastic measuring container and I don't want to pour a hot liquid into plastic. That's just me. Do what you like. But the next step is to measure the juice. Let's see if I can do this. And you'll note it is a little bit thicker, and that's because of the pectin in there. And that turned out to be, oh, I'm losing my markings. 10 ounces. 10 ounces is 1 1/4 cup, and so I'm going to put that in the saucepan. Now the next bits are about proportion again. So the proportions I'm going for are 1.5 to 1. So 1.5 sugar to 1 cranberry juice. So if I have 1 1/4 cups of cranberry juice, that means I need 1 plus a half is 1.5 plus half of a quarter is 3/4. I don't know if you just follow that math there, but it's about 2 cups. So I'll put that in here. Let me do the math for real here. 15 ounces. 15 ounces is almost 2 cups. I did pretty good math. That goes in here, and I'm using raw cane sugar. You can use white as well. Then the other ingredients, the mint and the rosemary. And the proportion I'm using here is 1/8 of the cranberry juice. So if we've got a cup, that'd be 1 ounce. If we have a little bit more, that's gonna be a little bit more than 1 ounce. And I already did the measurement earlier because I know about how much I make each time. So there you go, 1/8 of the cranberry juice of mint and rosemary leaves. Now I'm gonna take that back to the stovetop. Here at the stovetop, I'm gonna put it over low heat. And I'm gonna stir everything together until the sugar dissolves. And I know when the sugar is done dissolving because it feels smooth. So, I'll be with you in just a moment. Now that the sugar is dissolved, I'm gonna remove it from the heat and I'm gonna let it sit for 30 minutes. We'll see in a moment. 30 minutes later, and it's done. The only thing left is to strain, bottle, label, and refrigerate. And in this case, I'm gonna label first. Masking tape. So we have Christmas or holiday syrup. I've got a 1.5 to 1, and that's it. Oh, we'll date. 12, 10, 22.